Now that's how you make a Bad Boys movie. From now on, that's how you make Bad Boys movies. So Bad Boys for Life tells the story of Marcus and Mike once again teaming back up to take down an assassin who is murdering people tied to an old case. Well, here we are again, everybody, with another January release in 2020. This is the third Bad Boys film. Me, myself, I have always been a huge fan of these movies. I saw the first one in theaters when I was like 5 years old. Saw the second one in theaters when that one came out. It seems like it's been a very long wait. This movie's been through development hell from different directors to different writers to being greenlit to being shelved for about 10 years or so. And I'll be honest with you, as somebody who is a huge fan of this franchise, I had no hope for this movie. Not only did the development hell usually point to very bad things in the future, not only does it seem like this is a concept that should have been fleshed out many years ago, it seems way too late to be doing another Bad Boys movie, and another thing that just doesn't tend to bode very well is really late sequels. We've seen them go horribly wrong, and the fact that the studio had almost no confidence in this, or at least it seemed, because I didn't see hardly any advertisement for this, and then they dumped it in January. My birthday's in January. My birthday movie almost always sucks or is mediocre every single year. And when I realized that my birthday movie this year was gonna be Bad Boys, I went, oh fuck. But I'm here to tell you guys, I'm genuinely shocked how damn good this movie is. It might be the best one. But before I get into all my reasons why, before I tell you what was great about this movie, before I get into some of the things that bothered me about this movie, go ahead and please join me down in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about Bad Boys for Life. Are you a fan of the franchise? Are you not a fan of this franchise but really enjoyed this one? Were you looking forward to this? Were you dreading this? Were you worried as hell like me? Do you want a Bad Boys 4? Which should have been Bad Boys for Life, but nonetheless, planning. And while you're doing all that, check the video description below for my Patreon link, which is a great way to support this channel, the best way to support this channel, and get some very cool things that is for patrons' eyes only, and actually have a little bit of ability to influence what I do on this channel. And just below that is my merchandise designs, a lot of cool shit, so check that out down below as well. And please like and share this video if you enjoyed, and hit that subscribe button if you are not already one of my awesome subscribers. But getting into the positives, the pros, the good shit about Bad Boys for Life, first and foremost, coming right off of the cuff, you gotta talk about how awesome Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are in these roles and with each other. They're the reason you go see these movies. When you think of Bad Boys, you don't think, ooh, cool, an action movie, or ooh, cool, a cop mystery. No, you think, damn, I get to see Will Smith and Martin Lawrence again. Their chemistry is awesome. It has always been awesome. It seems to get better with every single one of these movies, and they haven't skipped a single beat. This is not a movie where it seems like they have to kind of pull that chemistry back out. No, it seems like these guys have probably hung out with each other every single weekend since Bad Boys 2, because their chemistry is just on fire the entire movie. I also love the fact that the two characters of Mike and Marcus seem to be at a different place in their lives. They definitely follow the timeline of how long it's been. And even though there was some of those jokes in Bad Boys 2, they carry through with the arc of these characters, where you have Mike, who's kind of like the playboy, he's the player, he's the guy who will forever be like mentally 22 years old. And then you have Marcus, who's always been the family man that always wants to do things for his wife and his kids and doesn't want to get into all the crazy shit, doesn't want to go after the danger, doesn't want to be the daredevil that Mike always is. And they kind of balance each other out that way. They carry that through all the way over to here, where Mike is starting to be older, the playboy lifestyle isn't quite fitting how he is anymore, and how, even though Will Smith looks awesome, how much older he is from the first couple of movies. Marcus, once again, kind of facing retirement. Is it time for him to hang up the badge? Still dealing with things at home. His kids are grown up now. His daughter's getting married. All the things that, started off in the original Bad Boys, carried through into Bad Boys 2, and continued to carry through over into Bad Boys for Life, I thought was awesome. And I think that everything that they did regarding those two characters, as far as the passage of time, was really enjoyable to see. And going along with the chemistry of those two characters and how much fun they are to see back together again, the comedy in this movie is at its strongest too. It could arguably be the funniest of the three, or you could pretty much put all three of them together and say they're all equally funny, because I think they're all pretty damn funny. but this is a buddy cop franchise where the comedy has always been pretty much on par with the action. It is not like, you know, Beverly Hills Cop where it was mostly comedy and Beverly Hills Cop 2 where it was mostly action. They've always kept a really good balance, and it always has a nice little pace in the movie where every single time things get crazy, the tension's up there, the action is just out of this world. They always throw in some comedy and some jokes to loosen up the audience. I mean, there's like a laugh, a genuine gut laugh, at least every 5 to 7 minutes in this film.
Oh, this is my wife's car.
Cover the front door.
She knows, she always knows.
But on the other side of that coin, the action is kick-ass too. That was something that I was a little bit concerned about, being that this is the first Bad Boys movie that is not helmed by Michael Bay. Now, I do think that Michael Bay can give way too much sometimes, and that's certainly one of my criticisms of Bad Boys 2, is that it seems to be a little bit too Michael Bay'd. But you get into this one, and I was worried that, is the action that was so great in the first two movies gonna suffer here? Are these newer directors that's taking on the helm of director and taking over the Bad Boys franchise going to be able to carry through how great the action was in the first two movies? And I think that they did, because I'm somebody that I love how grounded the first Bad Boys is, and even though I enjoy the living hell out of it and still love that film, Bad Boys 2 goes a little bit too far into the ridiculous for me, almost a little Fast and Furious. This movie, to me, finds a nice balance to where it does feel more grounded, it does feel a little gritty, it does feel like the action is brought down to earth a little bit more, but there's still some fun, zany sequences where Mike's driving around in a Porsche and, you know, doing all these crazy things that would get him arrested in 5 seconds and thrown off the force, but it's a movie. And then sequences where, like in the trailer, where they're in a motorcycle and Mike's driving the motorcycle and Marcus is in the little sidecar, and it's fun. This is an action movie, first and foremost, alongside the comedy, and the action scenes deliver. Probably the biggest surprise for me, and why I think that this one might be the best of the three, possibly, I need to sit on it for a while, is the story, which is something that admittedly has never necessarily been the forefront of a Bad Boys movie. You don't necessarily go to see the story of what's going on. You go to see Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and you go to see some action and have some laughs. And this movie takes that, and you get all of that, but you also get a really good story along with it, where you have this assassin that's going through and killing all these people tied to some old case that they're not sure which old case it is, and Mike himself becomes one of the targets. And I like the fact that this movie and the story direction that they take actually makes these two characters face their mortality. Because if you look at Bad Boys 2, that entire movie, and again, I love it to death, that entire movie, they never really sold the fact that they ever felt they were in any kind of danger. They were dicking around the entire time. Every single action sequence, shootout, car chase, whatever, they never genuinely felt like they were scared for their lives. You get into Bad Boys for Life, and that changes. Immediately, the first act of the film, they're facing that. They're facing the fact that you can die this time. And as an audience member, you're facing it. You're going, holy shit, can one of these characters die in this movie? Before, never felt like it was a possibility. You get into this one, and you get into that darker tone, and you get into the story direction they're going through, and some of the thematic elements, which is something that, again, has never been in a Bad Boys movie, regarding family and regarding fate and regarding mortality. You're a little bit worried. And the way that they carry that story forward into the second and the third act, to me, I thought was a really cool direction to take things. There's some nice little surprises in there. There's some nice directions that actually genuinely surprised me. There was one moment in the movie where I genuinely sat up and audibly said, oh shit. There's a couple of those moments in this, which again is something that I did not expect from a Bad Boys movie, especially a third one that has been in development hell and got dropped in January. But the movie does have some nice little surprises and some nice little things that they tie the story together with in the third act that, to me, makes this, story-wise, the strongest of the three movies for sure. And the villains are the best by far. That's something that I don't even think you can dispute as far as these three movies. Again, not necessarily a franchise that's known for its villains. They definitely serve their purpose in the first two movies. This film, they not only serve their purpose, but they're intimidating, they're intriguing. You want to know what's going on, you want to understand the motivations behind them, and they, like I said before, really make the main characters face that impending death to the point where these villains are so crazy and so intimidating and so badass that you genuinely don't know if Mike and Marcus are gonna be able to take them.
Somebody's trying to kill me.
Who wants to kill you?
I don't trust a person that don't want to kill him. Hell, put my name up there. Thanks a lot. We got it, Marcus. We appreciate it.
And my final positive, which I would have bet hard money that this would have been one of my main negatives of this film when I walked into it after I saw the trailer. The younger crew, the ammo team, where you have Vanessa Hudgens and two other people who are like in their early 20s that come in, I thought they actually were used really well in the movie. They were funny. They balanced off of Mike and Marcus very well. I was worried it was going to be like an Expendables 3 kind of thing, where it's like, oh, you're going to have this young, cocky team that's going to make the old dogs look like old dogs, and it's going to turn that into a joke, and hopefully they don't take the forefront of the movie, but I was just worried. I see that, and I was like, oh, Expendables 3, please, no. And you watch the movie, and not only do they use the humor really well between kind of the old dogs that can't learn new tricks and all the young kids that have all the technology and the new training but don't necessarily have the street smarts of the old dogs. There's that nice little banter back and forth, but they do nothing but bounce off each other and make each other better characters. They make Marcus and Mike very funny in the scenes that they're working with them in, but Marcus and Mike kind of picking at them makes the younger kids even more interesting and characters that I would totally welcome to come back if we do get a Bad Boys 4. And like I said, that was my biggest worry. When I saw the trailer, I went, fuck, that's gonna suck in the movie. I can already tell. It didn't. It was awesome.
You look great, Grandpa.
So you're that guy.
There's always one.
Right up till there's not.
Now, as far as negatives, I can't get into details why, but honestly, my only genuine negative with this film, which again shocks me that I only have this one little nitpick about it, is the post-credits, or it comes right before the credits, but the epilogue or post-credit scene, whatever you want to call it, that they kind of tack onto the end of this film to tease what's to come. Didn't really like that. I didn't think the movie needed it, and what they're teasing to me feels a little bit too fast and furious for me. If you haven't seen the movie, I haven't spoiled anything, and it's not gonna make any sense what I'm saying. If you have seen the movie, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I saw that and I went, you took it a step too far. The story was perfect where you ended it, and that little extra step there, it's a little bit too much for me. Doesn't ruin it. It's not something to where if this actually comes through with a Bad Boys 4, I'm gonna go, ugh. I'm probably gonna enjoy the hell out of it. But first watch, getting through the movie and then seeing that extra little tacked on scene, I could have done without it. But overall, guys, I hope to God 2020 has more surprises like this in store for us, because like I said, as a Bad Boys fan to the core, I thought this movie was going to be terrible. Mediocre at best, and it's awesome. It's damn good. It might be the best of the three. I don't know how much of a fan of Bad Boys movies you are. Maybe that's not saying very much to you, but as somebody who absolutely loves the first film and really, really enjoys the second film, that's saying a lot. And I'm not somebody that typically watches a new film and just jumps on the hype train and goes, yeah, that was the best one. It might be. Great story. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith back at it again, have not missed a beat. Great comedy, great action scenes. It felt more grounded. You got the return of the score of the original film. Forgot to mention that. That was awesome to have back. To me, this was everything that I would want from a Bad Boys film, with a lot of genuine surprises that I didn't know that I wanted in a Bad Boys film. And I hope to God that they carry this forward with the fourth film, because, man, they got their mojo back. So if you're a fan of this franchise, or if you're a fan of action comedies, buddy cop movies, anything like that, definitely check out Bad Boys for Life while it's in theaters. It's gonna be an absolute blast, and you will have genuine surprises with how good and how intriguing this movie actually is. And once you've seen it in theaters and it finally hits the shelves, go out and buy it. So that's it, guys, my review for Bad Boys for Life. Damn, I'm so glad that this movie was as good as it was. The first genuine surprise of the year, and could be my most surprising movie of the year by the end of 2020. We'll see. The year is young. We're gonna close out this video a little bit differently, changing up how I do videos just a little bit from this going forward into 2020. So unfortunately, since we're in a time when it seems the ability to appreciate other people's opinions and come together as film fans and embrace everybody's views on art seems to be something that's dwindling by the day, I figured the best way that I can close out my videos from now on is with a simple message. And that is that opinions are like assholes, but it doesn't mean that you have to be.